family, Scott Croce here, Buffalo Roofing and Exteriors, and this is yet another edition of Beyond the Shingles. Last week we had Mr. Zach DeVries on here, and we were talking about Tom James and different suits and the clothing line that he has. But today I wanted to shift back to the wonderful world of roofing. And so, I get a lot of questions from time to time. Scott, how long does it take to install, a brand new roof? And that's a great question. Typically in the summer months, if we're doing over 40 squares, it could take anywhere from a day and a half to 2 days. Most of the time, though, with our crews, we're able to replace an entire roof from start to finish in 1 day. And so, we have a crew that we have a total of 5 different crews, but different trades. Of course, we have one just that does the gutter and downspout removal and replacement. We have another crew that just does siding, installs. We have a window crew that does window installs, and then we have a couple of different roofing crews. So, usually we have those guys are out there. We got about 10 to 12 guys that come out and we'll start at 7:30 in the morning, and we start tearing off. So, this is a little diagram, but you can kind of see, what we do based on this diagram here. But we go all the way down to your bare plywood because we need to install a shingle on decent plywood, and of course you don't want to put good shingles on bad decking. And so any rotted decking, we replace one sheet on us at no additional cost. But anything above and beyond, we charge, there's a fee, $125 to replace any sheets of plywood beyond one that's rotted. So that's very important. Now, a lot of times, when you have a roofing company come out and do a roof inspection, the very first thing that they should be doing is going into your attic. And so, we can tell a lot, in the attic to see, if you have any discoloration or you have, any mold or mildew, up in that area, evidence of leaking, or a previous leak. We can see all of that ahead of time, if you do an attic inspection. So it's very important to choose a local contractor that does those attic inspections, because we can at least have an idea, going into this for the roof replacement, what we need to replace. And so we go all the way down to the bare plywood, and of course, we use a system called the catch-all system. The catch-all system is a little skirt that is installed on the lower extremity of the property that protects against falling debris. It protects your siding, protects your windows, your screens. There's hundreds and thousands of nails too that come off, during a tear off. And our guys are very meticulous, at the very end to make sure that we use those magnetic rollers that where we'll go around and roll the property, especially if you have children or small pets or pets in general. The last thing we want is for them to get a nail and in the foot. And so we're very protective of your property, and we clean up and do a very good job cleaning up at the very end. A lot of times what we say is that, we want to leave your property in better condition than when we found it. And a lot of times the guys will do that. They use their little magnetic rollers, and we'll go around the property and pick up all those nails for you. So we go all the way down to the bare plywood, and then once the guys, you'll hear a lot of there's a lot of noise, when we first get there, and the reason why is because as we're tearing these shingles off, there's nails, in that plywood, and the guys are hammering those nails back into the plywood so that we can have a nice smooth surface to install the roofing system. So, the very first thing that the guys will do is they'll install the ice and water. You can see this is the ice and water. Usually we'll put 2 in the eaves and 2 in the valleys. And so, what that ice and water does is it prevents ice dams, and it's a additional vapor barrier. Then we also, after we install the ice and water shield, in the valleys, then the guys will go back with a Summit 60 through Atlas. It's a synthetic felt. Back in the day, guys were using 15-pound, 20-pound felt. Some of the contractors still do because it's very inexpensive, and that's where you want to be careful. When you choose a contractor, you want to make sure that the underlayment is just as durable, as the actual shingles. You're paying for a roofing system, not just the shingles. It's an entire system. So you want to make sure that that they go back with a nice synthetic 60 here through Atlas. And then once we do that, then we start installing the starter shingles, all the way around. So you got the starter shingles. And then after the starter shingles, then we, you can see the hip and ridge, here on the ridge. Especially if there's a ridge vent, and that's what we recommend versus a regular turtle vent. Those box vents, that hot air is forced through those little box holes. Whereas if we do a ridge vent, we can cut 2 to 3 inches along the ridge here, and it will open up that ridge line so that when that hot air rises, it goes right through consistently, right through the top of the roof. And you'll notice a difference, especially in the summertime. You'll notice that it's cooler, upstairs, and it vents better. It also helps make sure that there's not heat that's trapped up in that attic. Because if you have heat that's trapped up in that attic and it's constantly up on your roof system, it can deteriorate those shingles a lot sooner. And so we want to make sure that we have consistent ventilation, and that's what the ridge vent entails. So, once we go back with the ice and water, we got the starter shingles, we got the synthetic felt there, and the hip and ridge, then the guys will start shingling. So, we use, there's 2 different types of shingles, through Atlas. You got the Pinnacle Pristine, which is 130 mile an hour wind resistant, also has that Scotch Guard built into it that prevents algae growth for the life of the shingle. But then you can also get a class 4 shingle, which is an impact resistant shingle that has Core 4 technology built into it, and it's called Storm Master Shake. So Storm Master Shake has that impact 4 resistance, so that hail, when it's pounding on your roof, it absorbs the impact of that hail. And you can also get discounts through your homeowner's premium on the through your insurance company. And so, if you go back with an impact 4 resistant, you just have to show them proof that you have an impact 4 resistant, and they will give you a discount on your homeowner's premium as well monthly. So that eventually pays for itself. So this is an entire roofing system. That's why it's so important to choose and select a contractor that doesn't just install shingles, doesn't just do gutters and downspouts, but does an entire roofing system, because it's the roofing system that's going to keep your castle safe. Just about anybody out there, can install a shingle, on your roof, but what do you have underneath that shingle? That's the question, or those are the questions that you want to ask, when you're interviewing a contractor, a roofer, to do the work on your house. And again, this is probably one of your most expensive investments. The last thing you want to do is save money, thousands of dollars, by choosing a contractor that's a chuck in the truck or has a taillight warranty. As soon as their taillights disappear, that's the end of the warranty. So you don't want to be tracking these guys down, especially if you have a leak after an install. We have been around now, and we are here to serve the community in Oswego, Montgomery, Bolingbrook, Naperville, all over the surrounding area. We go all the way to Chicago as well, and we install the Atlas roofing system because we know that it has been tried and tested, over time, and we want to make sure that you have the best product and the best solution on your house that will protect you against the elements. So, with that said, we're just now starting the roofing season, and we would be more than happy to come out, do a free inspection on your roof. Now, there's not a lot of storms that have taken place, so we're kind of in what we refer to as a retail market, where you have an older roof, maybe it's 20, 25 years of age, and you need to get it checked because you might have some stains, showing up in the ceiling, and that water can come in. That water is very impervious. What it will do is it will find a way in one side of the house, and then you'll see it show up on the other side of the house. So you need a professional, licensed professional, to come in, take a look at that, see exactly what's going on. And we at Buffalo Roofing and Exteriors would be happy to take a look at that for you and provide you with a competitive bid, earn your business, and we want to be in your family for years to come, because we want to want you to be able to continue to refer us to friends and family and neighbors. So with that said, folks, give us a call at 630-277-7244. We do take storms head on, but we haven't had any storms, so we will take your retail bid, your older roof, whatever it is, whether it's an old 3-tab roof or you got an old, I did a segment earlier this week on those old wood shake roofs. Insurance companies are not going to insure those wood shakes, so you have to find an alternative solution to that, and we can come up with options and we can brainstorm together. We do all the heavy lifting for you. We are also licensed public adjusters and work well with all insurance companies. So give us a call at 630-277-7244. Let us do a free roof inspection and give us an opportunity to give you the peace of mind that you deserve. So anyway, I thought I would just come on this Friday. We're coming up on Easter Sunday, and Passover is just about done as well. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today in Chicagoland. I think they said 85 degrees. So a little early. That might fire up some storms later on. But with that said, folks, thank you so much for joining us today on this edition of Beyond the Shingles. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday weekend with your families, and we'll talk to you soon.